Good morning, students. Okay, so we will continue. I think I have left the heading. This one, breakup of the caliphate. Okay, some portion I have completed from the chapter subheading breakup of the caliphate and the rise of sultanates. Okay, this is history. Four and part 5. Right, part 5. And our next heading which we were that how the caliphate and its designation came to an ruin. Okay, how it has been ended with the emergence of these Bayids and other is Fatimids. Okay, and they were the last, you can say, rivalry who follow the pattern of caliphate and designation of caliphate. Okay, but after that, what was happened, how the emergence and you can say starting of sultanate came to an existence in the central Islamic land area, we are going to continue. Okay, beta. So pick up the pencils, and now I think I had left in the last paragraph. Yes, a third ethnic group. We were talking about that how the caliphate came to an end and sultanate emerged as a powerful means of system, administrative system, political system. Okay, so two are the Bayids and the Fatimids, and with them, and we are not limiting, we are going back that we are talking about Arabs and the Iranians. We know that which area where we have a mixed population of these two, Arabs and Iranians. In which area? Khurasan. Very good. In Khurasan. So that how the third one, how the Turks entered in this region. Okay. Now and when the Turks entered in the region, then they established the Sultanate. Okay. Now a third ethnic group was added to the Arabs and Iranians with the rise of the Turkish Sultanate in the 10th and the 11th century. So here we are talking about the 10th and yes, 11th centuries. The third ethnic group means we are saying Turkish. Okay, entered and established the sultanates. Okay, sultanates, and they called them the ruler or the king sultan. The term sultan, okay, you will associate the term sultan and sultanate with the Turkish people. These are the way to remember the things. Okay, now what they have done, then when in the 11th and the 10th century the third ethnic group emerged. The Turks were nomadic tribes. The Turkey people who entered in this area, they were by profession, they were nomadic. It means pastoralists. They used to go in the search of food, they used to herd their animals from one place to another. Now you can see how this nomadic tribe, okay, entered in the power and how they became so much powerful. Okay, that and the Turks were nomadic tribes from the Central Asian steppe grasslands of Turkestan, okay, who gradually converted to Islam. So, in the 11th and the 10th century, these Turkish herders converted into Islam. What was the reason? These Turkish people converted to Islam. Okay. When they converted to Islam, they were skilled riders. Now, what were their quality? That they were herders. By profession, they were not educated enough. They were not highly skilled in terms of education wise I am talking about. Okay, that they can have the administrative power. It requires so much of knowledge now and education. But what other skill they were having, that soon they got the reputation in the Islamic world or the Islamic region, because they were also physical and the mental health. Okay, they were so good in the horse riding. They were by nature warriors. Their spirit is just like a warrior. Got it? They were so full of enthusiasm that warriors and entered the Abbasid, and then they entered in the Abbasid, Samanid and Bayi administration as slaves. They not only entered in one set of ethnic group, but they have entered as a slave. Got it? They were warriors in their nature. They are so much good in their physical capability. They are good horse riders. But they had entered in all these three different ethnic groups, the Baids, the Samanids and other is the Abbasids, as a form of slave. Okay, they entered as a form of slave and soldier. Who are good in horse riding, in the you can say leadership quality. They take over in the armies of all these three ethnic groups who were suitable for this slave purpose. They took the chance to be a slaves. Okay, and then rising to high position on account of their loyalty, undermine and military abilities. But soon after, although they have joined these all three ethnic groups as a form of slave and as a form of soldier, but they are too loyal. They are too loyal and too dedicated for their job that soon their promotion was there. Soon they were promoted by all these ethnic groups supervisors. Okay, so it again the matter of fact of your hard work and your caliber. Okay, as a slave, as a soldier I think is smallest rank in the army, but soon after they got promoted as they were full of dedication and they are full of talent. And then the Ghazanvid Sultanate was established by Alptagin in 961 and consolidated by Muhammad of Ghazni. In the series, the first Sultanate was established and the name of the Sultanate was the Ghazanvid Sultanate, and it was established by Alptagin in 961. It means the end of 9th century. ठीक है? Starting of 10th century and the end of the 9th century. The first Sultanate. Okay? The question can be given to you. Please underline these names. Okay? And after it, like the Baids, the Ghazanvids were military dynasty. Okay. They were also focused on the military part to strengthen their army. Okay, and it was the same idea of the Baids also. So these Ghazanvids also trying to strengthen their army. Got it? Okay. Then with the professional army of Turks. With whom? The professional army of Turkish people, and you can say Tilak. Yes, within the community. Within the community, not only the Islamic people or the Turkish people now they have converted into Islam. Also Turkish people also, we can say them Islamic people, but the Indian people also. Yeah, the Indian people who were not Islamic by their birth, they also promoted in the army, okay, on the basis of their caliber and strength. And Tilak was one commander in their army, commander-in-chief. Yes, the Hindu was also promoted on the basis of their caliber. That's why they have given the name. But their center of power was in Khurasan. Okay, so I think this name shouldn't be new for you. So the main center of their power, the army power, was established in Khurasan and Afghanistan. Okay, Khurasan and Afghanistan, and for them. And Abbasid caliphs were not rivals for these people. Whom they are talking about? Turks, na? Turks. Okay, who have joined the Baids and the Samanid and the Abbasid. Basically, we are talking about the Turkish people, है ना? Who have joined these three ethnic community, and then these Ghazanvid, the first Sultanate was established. The people who were in caliphs as an enemy. They respect them. Okay, these Turkish people who are now having power, they realize that these Abbasid caliphs are not the matter of danger for them, and but a source of legitimacy. But they take them as a source of legitimacy, that they will provide us so many excuse me, laws and regulations which can be helpful in our administrative policy also and political policy also. Okay. Now Mahmud was conscious of being the son of slave. Now we are talking about, as we have told you, that the Ghaznavid dynasty when established by the Alpegin, then it was strengthened by whom? Mahmud of Ghazni. And who was Mahmud of Ghazni? Mahmud of Ghazni was the son of a slave. So every now and then, being a son of slave, he just want to be promoted as a higher rank because he was so good in the army. You can say in the all the as a you can say leader in the army, he is full of wisdom. He was too good. That's why all the time he thought that I have to be promoted. And because he belonged to the lower, so he knows the importance of hard work, and he also wants that I should be honored. I should be honored by the good rank. So being a son of a slave, and was especially eager to receive the title of Sultan from the caliph. That's why being a son of slave, we always want that we should be awarded with the title. Okay, because it happens with us. The thing which we have in our life, we are never attracted towards it. Yeah? Because they are available to us. Got it? But the thing which we are not having in life, we always attracted by them. Yes or no? I have given you the finest example of Ronaldo. That what a poor family, father of gardener. All the time he thought to be a good footballer. All the time. Even today he is giving 101% to his exercise. Because there are two things. One, when you think that what I have to be. When it is clear, you give your every now and then you work hard to achieve your goal. That is the first step. By God's grace, by your own spirit, if you never get tired after seeing so much of failure, but still you want to start the same spirit, one day you will achieve, no doubt. But after achieving that position, to remain that position is another challenge. Yes or no? It is more difficult than the first one. Yes or no? To remain at the same success, to sustain, as we use the term sustainable development. Development is okay. It is also a great challenge when we have to develop the country. But again, if we are talking about not only develop, because we have developed the nation. Yes or no? Economically, so much of industrialization. We have developed so much that we are compromising in terms of the pollution. But again, now the next step, that now the next challenge is there. Ma'am, everywhere is pollution just because of this industrialization. We have done the industrialization so that we can provide the job to the people, ma'am. Second largest populous country. Okay, we have done so. But now the another challenge that we have to control the population also, pollution also. So how can, you can see, that's why we have come up with a strategy. Even in India it is not implemented, but the idea is implementing the developed nation, sustainable development. So sustain, to be sustained at the success, at the peak point, it is another greatest challenge, and it is really for everybody. I'm not talking about only Sultan and Sultan. For the common people also who want to be something in their life, when they achieve, just ask them that how many challenges they face. Doesn't matter what position they got. They may be the top officer, but again the new thing they face every day. Because how much power you will be having, so much responsibility you will be having. Powers always governed by the responsibility. Yes, ये हमेशा happen. That's again it happened that being a son of a slave, he was so eager that he want to get the title of Sultan by, and for that he never tried to kill somebody. He wanted on the basis of his career he should awarded the title. And then he won this title from the Caliph. The Caliph was willingly to support the Sunni Ghazanvid as a counterweight to Shiite power. And while the Caliph desired that he want to support the Sunni Ghazanvid as a next, you can say, Sultan, because he want to Shiite power. He wants that Shia power was increasing, and he want to create a balance between Shia and Sunni. To just balance this, you can say, dividation, where he wants that both communities should be powerful, so that there should be no, you can say, partiality. So at the same time, he want to balance this gap. He want to improve the condition of Sunni, as the Shia was more powerful that time. So he want to be make you can say next caliph or sultan to the another guy who belongs to the this Sunni tribe. Okay, but the desire of the Mahmud Ghaznavi that he want to be the next sultan. Okay, now the another community we have talked about Arab, Abbasi, then Iranian, and the third one was Turks. Okay, Turkish people. Now the another community has emerged, and the name of this community is Seljuk Turks. The Seljuk Turks entered Turan as a soldier. Okay, in the armies of the Samanids and Karkhanids, non-Muslim Turks. Okay, from further east. They later established themselves as a powerful group under the leadership of two brothers, Tugril and the Chagri Bey. Taking advantage of the chaos following of the death of the Muhammad of Ghazni, the Seljuks conquered the Khurasan in 137 and made Nishapur their first capital. Now the story, now the new character that after the death of Mahmud Ghazni, now the Seljuk Turks, or you can say Turks, entered in the area and they wanted to take over the power after that of Mahmud Ghaznavi, and they themselves settled down as a powerful group under the leadership of two brothers. Okay, and these two brothers were Tugril and the Chagri Bey. Okay, these underline these names. Yes, they were the Seljuk Turks. Okay, they both were the brothers, and they took the power after that of Mahmud Ghaznavi, and here they established in Khurasan. So in 1037, yes, in 1037 they conquered the Khurasan. Okay, the Khurasan. Can anybody tell me? Yes, that what sort of people used to live in Khurasan? Which two community lived there in Khurasan? Which two community lived there? Yes, good, sit down. Arab said, my main, sit down. History is deep. It will take time. But the connectivity you have to remember. That when I am again taking the name Khurasan, so you have to remember, okay, the two community live there. If you will just not be serious to just connect your topic, connect the theme, then it will be very much, it will be a great challenge. It is not easy to remember. So these two brothers were belonging to the Seljuk tribe, Seljuk Turks. They conquered the Khurasan, okay, and made Nishapur their first capital, and they made the Nishapur area as their first capital. Okay. Now, the Seljuk next turned their attention to Western Persia. Now, after conquering the Khurasan, now everybody, just like the previous kings and the rulers, either we study the Roman Empire or these you can say Abbasi, or you can say the Turks. Now, after conquering the Khurasan, they also want to conquer the more area. So they move ahead. So they decided to conquer the Western Persia and Iran. Okay, and these areas were ruled by the Buyids. These two areas ruled by the Buyids. Okay, and they want to conquer these two areas also, and in 1055 restored Baghdad to Sunni rule, and the result of that Baghdad was restored for the Sunni rule. In Baghdad area, the Sunni became so powerful. Shia and Sunni, I told you, there were two sects in the modern Muslim community. The Sunni came to be in a powerful administrative and political way in Baghdad. Okay. Now, the Caliph Al-Qaim conferred on Tughril Bey the title of Sultan in a move that marked the separation of religious and political authority. And the Caliph Al-Qaim gave the title of Sultan to Tughril Bey. Okay? Yes. He has given the title to Tughril Bey as a Sultan, and in move that marked the separation of religious and political authority. Why he had done so? He had done so that he want to just settle down all the differences in the society on the basis of religion or on the basis of their, you can say, religious belief and political authority. Because already Shia and Sunni sect was divided. Then you can see that every now and then how the community people are changing, how their rulers, they have changed from the Abbasi to these Bayids and Fatimids. Then the Turks has entered. Okay, so to establish a, you can say, to establish a constant political and economical structure, he has given the title to Tughril Bey as a Sultan. Who has given? The last Caliph. Yes. Okay. Now, the two Seljuk brothers ruled together in accordance with the tribal notion of rule by the family as a whole. Tughril was succeeded by his nephew Al-Aslan. During the Al-Aslan's reign, the Seljuk Empire expanded to Anatolia, modern Turkey. So, after the death of Tughril Bey, his nephew succeed the throne. Okay, and he has, you can say, makes his kingdom towards the Anatolia, which is known today as a Turkey. Okay, in current day we know it as the name of Turkey. That earlier, ancient time, the Turkey was known as the Anatolia. So the expansion of Turkish empire was done by the Al-Arslan. He was the nephew of Tughril. Okay, and he has expanded his territory to the modern Turkey. Then from the 11th to 13th century, अब हम आ गए हैं, हमने 10th and 11th कर दिया था. अब 11th to we are talking about the 13th century. 11th to 13th century, there was a series of conflict. Up the different story. Now you will the crusade. Crusade means that the series of war. The series of war between mainly the Islamic, Muslim and Christian community. So this crusade is going to describe from the 11th up to the 13th century. Numberless, uncountable, you can see the war between their Christian community and your Muslim community. Okay. There was a series of the conflicts between European Christian and the Arab states. This is discussed below. Then the start of the 13th century, the Muslim world found itself on the verge of a great disaster. Reaching to the 13th century, you know how the Islamic culture flourished from the 6th to the 7th and the 9th and 10th. They are keep going changes. But as whole, they are adopting Islamic culture. So they are trying. Although the caliphs are changing, the Abbasid are coming in power, but by as a whole they just want to circulate the idea of Islam. Some are saying that we are originally the descendants of the Prophet's uncle. Okay, Abbasid. Some are saying that the daughter of, you can say, Prophet Muhammad is Fatima. The Fatimids will be the real, you can say, descendants. But anyhow, these all people wanted to flourish the Islamic culture. Yes or no? Now, the far down begins from the 13th century. Far down begins from the 13th century, that